There is a moment in the spiritual calendar when something silent, profound, and almost imperceptible begins to move. You could be doing anything ordinary, like having a coffee in the morning, driving to work, or looking out the window before bed, and still feel that something has changed within you. It is a sensation difficult to explain, as if the air carried a new piece of information, as if the world had changed its tone without warning you. And that is exactly what I need to talk to you about today, because July 4th is not an ordinary date, and what is happening right now, in the invisible field that surrounds us all, will affect your life in the coming weeks, in the coming months, and perhaps even the course of everything you have yet to understand about yourself. I know it seems like an exaggeration to hear this for the first time. I know there is a part of your mind that will resist, that will want to say it is just another video, just another theory, just another date invented to get attention. But if you have arrived here, if this message appeared to you precisely today, it was not by chance. Nothing that has appeared in your life in the last few days is a coincidence. And that is why I ask from the bottom of my heart that you stay with me until the end, because what I am about to share may change the way you perceive this moment we are living in. July 4th marks an energetic opening that many mystics, sensitives, and scholars of consciousness have called a transition portal. It is not a portal in the literal sense. It is not a physical door that opens in the sky, but a subtle alignment between cosmic forces, solar cycles, and vibrational currents that touch the human field directly. Imagine that Earth is a great living organism, and this organism breathes in cycles. There are days when it inhales slowly, days when it rests, and there are specific days of the year when it exhales with force, releasing a wave of information for all those who are tuned in on some level to its frequency. July 4th is one of those days, and the exhalation happening now carries a different intensity, because it does not come alone. It comes accompanied by a collective phase in which humanity is being invited, or pushed, depending on your resistance, to reorganize itself internally. Everything that is old, everything that no longer fits, everything that you have been carrying out of habit, fear, or custom, is being illuminated in this passage, and you do not need to believe in any of this for it to be happening. The laws of the invisible do not ask for permission. They operate silently in the same way that gravity does not ask if you believe in it before pulling you to the ground. To understand the real spiritual meaning of what is unfolding, one must go back a little in time and realize that energetic cycles have always existed. Ancient traditions, from the Egyptians to the Mayans, from the Celts to the Andean peoples, always marked specific days of the year as points of power. Days when the veil between the visible and the invisible became thinner. Days when prayers, intentions, and silences had a different weight. What changes now, at the moment you watch this video, is that these energies are intensifying like never before in recent history. We are leaving one era and entering another. You can feel it in the way the news arrives, in the speed with which everything changes, in the sensation that time is passing too quickly and that every week feels like an entire month. This perception is not just psychological. It is the reflection of a collective transformation that is happening in the field of consciousness. And July 4th, in this specific cycle, is the point where this energy reaches a peak, an elevated vibration that will pressure, dissolve, and illuminate everything that is still out of alignment in your life. Old patterns will begin to creak. Old truths will begin to ache. And you will realize, even without fully understanding, that something inside you no longer fits in the place where it has always been. Perhaps you are already feeling some signs, and it is important that you recognize these signs because they are the way your body, your mind, and your soul are warning you that you are more sensitive than ever to this new energy current. One of the first signs is a strange, deep tiredness that has no apparent explanation. You sleep well, eat reasonably, do not overload yourself at work more than usual, and yet you feel an exhaustion that seems to come from a deeper place, as if your body were processing something your mind does not yet comprehend. This tiredness is one of the most common hallmarks of transition periods. It is not weakness, it is not illness, it is reorganization. Your energy system is using resources to metabolize the new frequency, and this calls for pause, slowness, silence. Another very common sign is the intense emotions that appear out of nowhere. You might be fine, calm, going about your day, and suddenly feel a deep sadness for no reason, or a joy that overflows while you wash the dishes, or a desire to cry while watching some scene on the street. These emotions are not being provoked by something external. They are coming from within you, rising to the surface after years of being stored away, and are being dissolved by the new energy passing through your field. Dreams also become more vivid in these periods. People who usually do not remember dreaming start waking up with intense memories of images, conversations, places, and scenarios that seem to have a deeper meaning than just a daydream. Some people report dreaming of relatives who have passed away, of landscapes they have never seen in real life, or of situations that mix past and future in a way that does not obey the logic of time. This happens because, during sleep, your consciousness travels with more freedom, and in peak energy periods like this one, it accesses layers that would normally be out of your reach. Another frequently reported sign is the sudden need to isolate yourself. You start to feel that you need more silence, more space, less noise, fewer people, fewer empty conversations. Social media starts to bother you more than usual. Superficial conversations exhaust you. Crowded environments seem to steal your energy. This is not antisocial behavior. This is not depression. This is your field adjusting, asking you to spend more time with yourself, because it is only within you that this transformation can fully take place. You may also feel more subtle physical symptoms, such as a slight vibration in your hands, inexplicable heat in the nape of your neck, tingling on the top of your head, increased sensitivity to light and sound, back and shoulder pains for no apparent reason, changes in heart rhythm, slight nausea, palpitations. Whenever you feel something like this, of course, see a doctor to rule out any health issues. This is fundamental. But it is important to know that when all tests show that everything is fine, what is often happening is just your body reorganizing itself to keep up with the new vibration that is crossing the planet. A human being is much more than matter. Every cell carries information. Every organ carries memory. And when an energy wave like the one that is intensifying now passes through your field, all of this is reactivated, stirred, awakened, so that what was dormant can finally come out. And it is precisely at this point that the most delicate part of everything I am sharing with you comes in. Because this energy that is arriving is neither good nor bad. It is neutral. It is pure potential. And what will determine whether it will propel you or bring you down is the way you decide to relate to it. For those who are open, for those who are willing to look inward, for those who accept the invitation to let go of what needs to be released, this energy acts as a monumental push on your spiritual path. Insights appear with clarity. Solutions to old problems suddenly emerge. The right people enter your life at the right time. Synchronicities begin to multiply. You start noticing signs everywhere, repeating numbers, conversations that seem scripted, opportunities that appear without explanation. This is all the direct manifestation of a consciousness more aligned with the flow that is taking place. You begin to feel lighter, more whole, more aware of your purpose. You start to reconnect with who you truly are, before the masks, before the roles, before the identities that life has given you. But on the other hand, for those who resist, for those who cling to what no longer serves them, for those who refuse to look within, this same energy acts as an exhausting pressure. Old fears return with force. Insecurities that seemed overcome reappear. Conflicts with loved ones intensify. Arguments that seemed small turn into crises. Physical symptoms worsen. Sleep becomes difficult. Anxiety increases. This happens because when you try to hold on tightly to what the energy is asking you to let go of, the tension grows and suffering becomes inevitable. It is not a punishment. It is not a castigation. It is not an external force trying to hurt you. It is merely the natural friction between the old structure and the new vibration that is arriving. It is like trying to swim against a strong current. The more you fight, the more tired you get. And often we fight precisely against that which would set us free. Therefore, how you navigate this moment depends much more on your inner attitude than on anything you can do on the external plane. And this is where the practices that can help you align with the new frequency come in. The first is meditation. It doesn't need to be anything complicated, nothing ritualistic, nothing perfect. Just set aside a few minutes a day, preferably right upon waking and before going to sleep, to sit, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and simply observe what is happening inside you, without trying to change anything, without trying to fix anything, just observing. Meditation is not meant to give you peace. It is meant to show you where peace is being blocked. And in moments of peak energy like this, 10 minutes of meditation can be worth hours of any other practice. The second practice is silence. Not just external silence, but internal silence. There is an absurd amount of mental noise that we carry without realizing it, and this noise is the main obstacle between you and the higher frequency that is manifesting now. Reserve moments of the day when you simply stop consuming information. No cell phone, no television, no music, no podcast, no news, no conversation. Just you and the present. It could be while you take a shower, while you walk down the street, while you wash the dishes, while you have your breakfast. Small islands of silence throughout the day are enough to begin recalibrating your system. And the more you allow yourself this silence, the more you begin to perceive answers that have always been there, but were muffled by the noise. The third practice is connection with nature. In periods of energetic transition, nature acts as a great stabilizer. It has its own balanced electromagnetic field, which helps to reorganize your personal field. Walking barefoot on the grass, sitting under a tree, staying close to a river or the sea, watching the sunset, contemplating the night sky, all of this recalibrates your nervous system and puts you back in tune with natural rhythms. Nature does not judge you. It makes no demands of you. It simply exists in flow, in cycle, in balance. And when you spend time in it, without an objective, without haste, without a cell phone, something inside you remembers what it is like to be whole. The fourth practice is gratitude. And when I speak of gratitude, I'm not talking about that automatic gratitude we repeat without feeling. I'm talking about a conscious, active gratitude that recognizes, even on difficult days, 3 or 4 things you can be grateful for in this exact moment. The bed you sleep in, the water you drink, the air you breathe, the person who sent you a message, the sun that came through the window. Gratitude has a specific vibration that harmonizes your field with the higher vibration that is arriving. It is as if it puts you on the right channel. 5 minutes of gratitude a day is enough to change the quality of your energy. The fifth practice, and perhaps the hardest of all, is detachment. Not just material detachment, but detachment from identities, from roles, from old versions of yourself, from old hurts, from stories you have been repeating for years. This phase is asking you to let go of everything that no longer fits, and what no longer fits often includes relationships you maintain out of habit, jobs that drain you for fear of change, repetitive mental conversations you have been feeding for years. Letting go does not mean abandoning. Letting go means stopping holding on so tightly. And when you let go, life begins to reorganize itself in a way that your mind alone could not plan. Now, it is important that I also speak about what happens to those who completely ignore this process. Because this energy will not wait. It is moving, whether you are ready or not. Whoever decides to ignore the signs, whoever decides to keep living in the same mechanical gear, whoever decides to deny everything that is pulsing to come to the surface, tends to enter a phase of prolonged suffering. Not because anyone is punishing them, but because the friction between what needs to be born and what is being held back generates pain. You must already know people like this, or perhaps you yourself have already gone through this at other times in your life. People who cling to clearly exhausted situations, people who repeat the same mistakes with different people, people who get sick out of nowhere because the body can no longer bear to carry what the soul is asking to let go of. This is the price of ignoring the cycles. And often this price is charged in the form of chronic exhaustion, of a feeling of emptiness, of relationships that break in unexpected moments, of careers that collapse suddenly, of crises that seem to arise from nothing, but which in reality had been built for years by a silent resistance. The good news is that it is never too late to start. The very existence of this moment that you are living now, hearing these words, is already a sign that your field is pulling you to a higher place. You could be doing anything else at this exact instant. You could be sleeping, working, distracted by anything else. But something brought you here, and that something is your own consciousness calling you to wake up. Accepting the cycle does not mean that everything will become easy. It just means that you will stop rowing against the current. And when you stop rowing against it, The current begins to take you to places you didn't even imagine existed. People who allow themselves this surrender report concrete changes in a short time. A sense of more mental clarity, decisions becoming easier, anxiety decreasing, sleep improving, meaningful encounters happening, unexpected opportunities arising, and especially an internal sensation of finally being on the right path. Of course, these changes do not happen at the speed of our impatience. Energy has its own time. But when you align yourself with it, even if only a little bit a day, even if only with a more conscious breath, even if only with a clearer intention before sleeping, you begin to realize that everything starts to flow in a different way. And you begin to wonder how you managed to live before in such a heavy, automatic way, so disconnected from yourself. It is as if you had lived your whole life with a weight on your back, and suddenly realized that there had always been a way to let go of that weight, but no one had told you. And here arrives the point that I consider the most important of this entire conversation. You need to understand that this process does not end on July 4th. That day is just the opening point. It is just the portal that swings wide open to let energy enter more intensely. But true transformation is a continuous path, which unfolds over the days, weeks, and months that follow. Do not expect everything to happen at once. Do not expect your life to change overnight. Do not expect that suddenly all your questions will be answered. What you can expect is that each day you choose to align yourself with this new frequency. Something small but real will start to move within you. A layer will dissolve. An answer will appear. A decision will become clear. And when you look back in a few months, you will realize that this date was a milestone. It was a turning point. It was the moment when something truly began to reorganize itself. Therefore, I leave here an invitation. Not an invitation for you to believe in me, not an invitation for you to believe in a specific theory, but an invitation for you to observe yourself. Just that. In the coming days, observe how you wake up. Observe how you feel throughout the day. Observe which thoughts return most frequently. Observe which emotions appear out of nowhere. Observe who you feel like talking to and who you feel like distancing yourself from. Observe which books, which videos, which conversations start to catch your attention. Observe the dreams. Observe the signs. Observe the numbers that repeat themselves. Observe the coincidences that suddenly seem to make sense. And go write all of this down, even if it is in a simple notebook, even if it is in a few lines on your phone, because these observations will build your own internal map, and this map will be much more valuable to you than any external knowledge that someone could give you. Remember that true spirituality is not an escape from reality. It is a deep dive into reality. It is not disconnecting from the world. It is seeing the world with new eyes. It is not living in the air. It is treading the ground in a more conscious way. And what is happening now is not a fantasy. It is not an empty promise. It is not a trap to distract you. It is a genuine invitation for you to step out of the automatism in which most people live, for you to begin to realize that there is much more happening than what your five senses can capture, for you to reconcile with parts of yourself that you abandoned along the way, and for you to remember that you came here with a purpose that goes far beyond paying bills and getting through the week, waiting for the weekend. This July 4th marks the beginning of a phase in which observation, presence, and consciousness will become the most valuable tools you can cultivate. Whoever remains on autopilot will feel the jolt of change as an uncomfortable push. Whoever allows themselves to stop, look, and feel will discover that this push was actually an embrace, a call, a hand extended by life itself. And it does not matter at what point you are now. It does not matter how tired you are. It does not matter how many times you have already tried to change and failed. This moment offers you a new chance. Not the 1,000th identical chance, but a truly different chance, because it comes accompanied by an energetic force that is doing the work alongside you. All you need to do is not run away, just stay, just be. Just allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt, let go. What needs to be released? To realize what needs to be realized. Your soul knows the way, your body knows the way. Your intuition, which perhaps you have silenced for years, is starting to speak louder again, and all it is asking is for you to start listening once more. Perhaps you won't find grand answers at this first moment, Perhaps you will only find a faint sensation that you are in the right place, a light desire to breathe deeper, a small decision you know you need to make and have been putting off. All of this is already movement. All of this is already alignment. All of this is already the new frequency manifesting through you. Do not underestimate the small. Great transformations begin in almost invisible movements, a different conversation, a book that appears at the right moment, a thought that lasts 5 seconds longer than usual, a pause before replying to a message that normally upsets you. These are the points where the new you begins to manifest, and every time you recognize these points, you strengthen them, and every time you strengthen them, they become more frequent. And in a short time, what was an exception begins to become the rule, and what was the rule begins to dissolve naturally. This is the way. There is no miracle, there is no shortcut, there is no magic formula. There is presence, there is consciousness, there is surrender. Before we end this conversation, I want to remind you of something I consider fundamental. You are not alone in this process. Across the planet, at this very instant, millions of people are feeling the same things as you. They are tired for no reason, emotional for no apparent reason, dreaming strange things, feeling the need to isolate themselves, realizing that old habits no longer fit, intuiting that something big is happening. You are part of a silent, yet immense wave of human beings who are waking up together. And this wave only grows. You don't need to carry the weight of thinking you are the only one who feels what you feel. You don't need to justify yourself to those who still don't understand. You don't need to convince anyone. Just follow your path, listen to your inner voice, honor your process, and trust that what is being moved in you is being moved in many others as well. And when these paths cross, and they will cross, you will recognize instantly who is on your frequency, who is in the same boat, who is part of your spiritual family. Trust time. Trust the process. Trust yourself. The 4 de Julio is just opening the door. What you will do within the space that this door reveals depends entirely on the choices you make from now on. And even when it seems like nothing is happening, know that it is. Even when it seems like you are standing still, know that you are reorganizing from within. Even when it seems like you are lost, know that you are just dropping an old map to receive a new one. Allow yourself to live this moment with the openness it deserves, and you will discover that what seemed to be just another ordinary day on the calendar was in truth the silent beginning of a different life. A life in which you are more whole, more lucid, more connected to your purpose, lighter to love, firmer in choosing, more courageous to let go, and wiser to receive. This is the invitation. This is the offer of the new frequency, and it is available to you now at this very moment. You just need to say yes from within. Just open the door, just take the first step. Life takes care of the rest in its own way, in its own time, with the infinite intelligence that has always known how to take care of everything. Just don't run away. Stay, feel, observe, trust, and see with your own eyes the transformation manifesting in your life.